Good afternoon, everybody. We welcome you here to round number 3 of the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season as we are live here from Sin City, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, for today's running of the Pennzoil 400. It is a beautiful day here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 94 degrees outside, great weather, a great crowd on hand. This place is packed and we are ready to go racing here today in the Pennzoil 400. We have 39 drivers on the grid hoping to tackle this mile-and-a-half speedway and punch their ticket into the 2022 postseason. Starting on the pole, we got the 5. Kyle Larson, the defending Cup Series champion, is on the pole. He won this race 1 year ago. It was the first of 10 victories he had last year, and he will start on the pole today. He won last week at Fontana after a last lap pass on teammate Chase Elliott. On the outside of the front row, we have the 11 of Denny Hamlin. He picked up his very first win at Las Vegas in the playoff race here 1 year ago. Jumping back to row 2, we have the 45, the Monster Energy Toyota of Curtin Busch. This is a home track game for Curtin Busch. He won here back in 2020. On the outside, the highest Ford on the grid, the 22 of Joey Logano. Friday night, we had the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race here with Ty Majeski scoring his first ever Truck Series win. And then last night, the Xfinity race, Brandon Jones grabbed his first ever win here in Sin City last night with Joe Gibbs Racing, putting himself in the Xfinity Series playoffs. And now it is the turn for the NASCAR Cup Series superstars here today. Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin in the front row. And let's go ahead and take a look here at the playoff grid. We are 2 races in the books. 2 races in the books, and we have 2 names in green. Eric Almirola, your Daytona 500 champion, in what is supposed to be a retirement tour season for Eric Almirola. Kicked out the season with the win in the 500, and as we said last week, Kyle Larson, a last lap pass on his teammate Chase Elliott. He only led 1 lap last week in Fontana, but it was the most important lap. A lap that got Kyle Larson the victory last week. But it is a new track, a new day, new challenges for these drivers and teams. How can they handle the track, the changes throughout the day? But find out as we're going to be going to a commercial break. But when we come back, we'll have the cars rolling on the track, your starting grid coming your way, as well as the green flag for today's Pennzoil 400. And now the cars will get set to run their pace laps. And as they do that, let's take a look here at your Pennzoil 400 starting grid. Row number 1, as we said, Kyle Larson. He won this race 1 year ago, hoping to go back-to-back. Denny Hamlin on the outside. He won the playoff race here last year. Row 2 is a hometown race for Kurt Busch in the 45. He won here back in the fall of 2020. And Joey Logano, a 2-time Las Vegas winner. Row number 3 has Ross Chastain. He scored his first ever Xfinity win here in 2018, driving for Chip Ganassi. Chase Briscoe swept the Xfinity races here back in 2020. Row 4, Ryan Blaney finished inside the top 5, both Vegas races in 2021, and Kevin Harvick, a 2-time Vegas winner. Row 5, Chris Buescher, only 1 top 10 here in Sin City. That came back in the fall race of 2020, and Chase Elliott, only 3 top 5s here at this track. Row 6 has Tyler Reddick, an Xfinity win back here in 2019. He also ran the Xfinity race last night. Kyle Busch, the 2008 winner of this race, to the outside. Row 7, Alex Bowman has 2 top 10 finishes here at Las Vegas, and teammate William Byron also 2 prior top 10s and 8 prior starts. Row 8, Daniel Suarez from Monterrey, Mexico, only 1 top 10 here, and Corey LaJoie has finished 16th twice, the best finish ever here for the Concord native. Row 9, Brad Keselowski, a former Vegas winner, and Austin Cindric makes his Cup Vegas debut. Row 10, Martin Truex Jr. has 2 Vegas victories next to last year's 500 champion Michael McDowell. Row 11, Justin Haley makes his 3rd Vegas start in his Colleague Racing Chevrolet with Eric Jones. Double duty here this weekend. He ran the Xfinity race here last night. Row 12 has Cole Custer in his Stewart-Haas Racing Ford, only 2 finishes inside the top 20 at this track, next to Bubba Wallace in his McDonald's Toyota. Row 13, Ty Dillon, his Petty GMS Chevrolet, and Christopher Bell, the fastest in practice but struggled in qualifying outside of row 13. Row 14 has rookie Ty Gilliland making his Cup Series Vegas debut, and Daniel Hemrick, the 2019 Rookie of the Year, has a best finish here of 17th in 2019. He dominated the Xfinity race last night, only to come up a few spots short. Row 15, Greg Biffle hasn't raced here at this track in over 6 years. Never won a race, but has won Vegas pole back in 2006. Next to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. won a race here in the Xfinity Series back in 2012. Row 16, Lanny Castle double duty again here this weekend aboard the number 77 for Aspire Motorsports, and Eric Almirola, this year's 500 champion, struggled pretty bad in qualifying. He rolls off 32nd. Row number 17, Josh Williams making his second career Cup Series start, driving for Live Fast Motorsports, and Cody Weir in the 51. Row 18 has rookie Harrison Burton, 3 top 10s in 4 Xfinity Series starts here at this track, and BJ McLeod's number 78 to his outside. Back on row 19, Austin Dillon has 2 prior Vegas top 10s. He also has a Xfinity win here back in 2015. Sharing the final row to himself is Phoenix native JJ Yaley. He has 12 prior Cup starts here at this track with a best finish of 17th twice. Only 39 cars are here this week. We've had 40 the past 2 weeks, but we only have 39 on the grid here tonight. In the past 14 NASCAR Cup Series races here at Las Vegas, dating back all the way to 2012, 13 of those prior winners have went on to win the NASCAR Cup Series championship or had already won the Cup Series title. And the only driver to win here in the past decade without a title was Denny Hamlin last September, and there are just certain tracks on the schedule that seems to favor some of the best in the Cup Series. There are tracks that just seem to favor champions of the series, and Las Vegas is definitely one of them. We just got the one to go signal there at the line. We're going to be going green this time by with Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin. We have a couple of cars going to the rear of the field for unapproved adjustments after qualifying. The 19 of Martin Truex Jr., the 23 of Bubba Wallace, and the 99 of Daniel Suarez will all be going to the rear of the field. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can work their way up through the field here tonight. Stage 1, I made a mistake earlier. Stage 1 is 30 laps. Stage 2 will be 40 laps. So stage 2 will be a little bit longer, and then that final stage will be 20 laps, giving us a total of 90 circuits around this 1.5 mile speedway. And we have the 2 drivers who won both races here a year ago on the front row. We also have the 22 of Joey Logano, the 12 of Ryan Blaney. Their primary sponsor is Pennzoil. What's the name of this race? The Pennzoil 400. Those 2 drivers definitely going to hope for a good showing here today. The pace car hits pit lane. The fans are on their feet. Time to get round number 3 of the 2022 schedule under the green flag. We're racing from Sin City. Already fanning out 3 and even 4 wide. Look at the 14 Chase Briscoe, 4 wide up the middle in that 14 car. To the outside of the 45 of Kurt Busch. But they remain side by side at the front. Denny Hamlin trying to stay to the right side of the 5 of Kyle Larson in turn 3. Kurt Busch still in the middle. That's Ross Chastain down low. But it's the 5 of Kyle Larson with the lead coming off turn number 4. He'll lead lap number 1 today. But the battle is on for second place. The 14, Chase Briscoe down low on the inside of the 11. The Denny Hamlin is out the 22. Logano sideways entering the corner. And look at the power move by the 48 of Alex Bowman. 4 wide in the middle. He passes about 3 cars in one turn. That was a great move by the 48 of Alex Bowman, as the 8 of Tyler Reddick still loose on the inside lane. This track is getting a little bit hotter as the day goes on. The temperature is starting to get a little bit warmer, and the track is going to also get a little bit more slicker as the day goes on. Although that is expected to change at some point because it will be getting a little bit cooler towards the end of this race. But the early portion, probably the middle portion of this race, is going to be a lot hotter, and these cars are going to handle a lot differently now than they will in that final stage, as Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, your front row starters have now drifted outside, nearly outside the top 5. There's the 17, Chris Buescher, moving up into 4th place as Chase Briscoe has taken the lead, but for how long? The 1 Ross Chastain Trackhouse Racing going to the front, and there's the 45 of Kurt Busch down low. Hometown race with the 45 of Kurt Busch. He finally got that big win back in 2020 as he nearly gets wiped out by the 8 of Tyler Reddick, who once again gets loose on the bottom, unable to stay in the gas. That kills his momentum off the corner. Now that allows the 22 of Joey Logano to drive to the outside of the 8, now to the inside of the 11 of Hamlin down to turn 1. Great start to the race by that 31 of Justin Haley for Colleague Racing. Up here just outside the top 5 as Kurt Busch again trying to grab that lead away from Chastain. And now the 22 of Logano also to the inside. He'll take 2nd away from the 1. Now Hamlin will try to follow suit on the inside lane. To the 1 of Ross Chastain, losing quite a few spots now on the outside as the top 3 have now gotten single file. And as soon as I say that, Logano makes a move to the inside for the lead in turn number 3. Logano to the lead, but now Hamlin to the outside off turn 4. The top 4 starters are now inside the top 4 running order. Tyler Reddick 5th, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott. And look at Bowman. Again, another aggressive move on the inside of Kevin Harvick to now move inside the top 10. Blaney outside the top 10, 11th, Kevin Harvick. There's Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch, 17, Chris Buescher. There's Brad Keselowski, Harrison Burton, Michael McDowell, Justin Haley, and Austin Dillon. That is your top 20. Further back, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Austin Cindric, Eric Almirola, Eric Jones, and Corey LaJoie. Now remember, we have 3 cars had to start at the back of the pack due to unimproved adjustments. Right now, the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. has done the best job at working his way through the traffic right now, up to 26. Now the other 2 guys, Bubba Wallace and Daniel Suarez, not too quick right now on the track. They are currently 31st and 32nd. Let's look through the rest of the field, and it is still a tight battle here at the front. You know, we saw a lot of pack racing last week in Fontana, and now we're having more again today. There's Kyle Larson to the inside for the lead. He's going to get a little push from the 20 of Christopher Bell. And look at William Byron, another aggressive move in the middle. That's the 24 Byron, the outside of Christopher Bell, but when these cars, when they get side by side, it's like the Truck Series. When they get side by side, it punches a big hole in the air. It allows several more cars to get lined up, tandem, and draft their way up to the leaders. And now as they're getting more racy again outside the top 5, that's going to allow the top 2 to possibly drive away if they get single file. Right now, it's the 2 Hendrick teammates, Larson and Byron. And Larson goes a little bit higher up the track than I believe he wanted to. And right now, it's going to be HMS, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. William Byron, Kyle Larson, and Alex Bowman. Highest Toyota right now, Kurt Busch in a 45. Now single file, he's gotten away from the mess behind him. The battle's on, and look at Hamlin on the outside of his teammate Christopher Bell. That's like the 3rd or 4th time we've seen a driver pull that move in the middle and make it work. And now Hamlin moves up into 5th. Chastain, single file now in 6th. Bell and Blaney for 7th. And now Chase Elliott, the only Hendrick Motorsports car not at the front yet, trying to join the party. Passes Ryan Blaney here off turn number 4. Working lap number 14. Or actually be lap number 13 this time. Be lap 14 next time by. But remember, stage 1 is only 25 laps. So it is a short stage, so you want to be on the go and try to make up as much spots as you can, because it's hard to get up through the field, because a lot of these cars, as you see, are pretty equal. And right now you see the 40 of Alex Bowman drive by the 24 of Byron for 2nd place. Alex Bowman, he had such a fast car last week in Fontana, got put in the wall late in the race, and Definitely was a tough break for the driver out of Tucson, Arizona, but right now showing more speed yet again today, getting around his HMS teammate Kyle Larson. And we'll be coming to about 11 to go here in stage number 1. Byron now back to the inside of Kyle Larson for second place. Here's Denny Hamlin now going to try to follow and fill the gap on the bottom, as well as to 45 of Kurt Busch. Remember, 10 drivers will get stage points here in this opening stage right now. At 20 of Christopher Bell, he just made the pass on the 17 of Chris Buescher. That puts Chris Buescher, the last car, inside the top 10. Austin Cindric trying to get a stage point. He's coming off a great run last week at top 10 for the former Xfinity Series champion. Right now, 3 wide. Chase Elliott back in the middle. There's Buescher still hanging up top. Brad Keselowski, a multiple-time Las Vegas winner, in front of Tyler Reddick. He started inside the top 10. He's drifted all the way back, nearly outside the top 15. And if there's one driver that really needs to have a good run here today, it's the 18 car, Kyle Busch. It has been a dismal start to the 2022 season for the 18 of Kyle Busch. Didn't really have nothing good go his way at Daytona. He qualified second at Fontana last week, but got put in the wall on lap 2 of the race. Didn't really have anything to show for his speed last week. And of course here, this being a hometown game for Kyle Busch and the Busch family, right now, he would love to start his season here today. Right now, he's outside the top 10, but trying to work around the 8 of Tyler Reddick. Let's see the 22 of Joey Logano. He's now fell back to 15th place. Chase Briscoe, he won a stage last week, got a playoff point. Right now, 16th. Daniel Hemrick, we talked about him earlier. Daniel Hemrick, he led a majority of the race last night in the Xfinity race. Didn't get the win with his Colleague Racing Chevrolet, but still having a great start to his 2022 campaign, trying to defend his Xfinity title. Right now, he's driving a limited schedule here in the Cup Series for Colleague Racing. Austin Dillon, there's the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. He's been on the move. He's picked up a lot of spots so far outside the top, or he just now cracked the top 20. Now goes by the 3 of Austin Dillon for 19th on the track, as they have now gotten around the 55 of Josh Williams and the 15 of Garrett Smithley. They both are going to go a lap down, as Blaney's going to try to make a pass down low. Hamlin's going to try to fill the gap in the middle. And that's just gave the 48 of Alex Bowman a pretty good lead here with 6 laps to go in stage number 1. We got the 44 on pit lane, Greg Biffle. Early trouble for the 44. But now look at that big lead Alex Bowman has after being able to use those lap down cars as a pick. Is Bowman, Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, and now Chase Elliott. Logano, we saw him back in 15th place. He was a big beneficiary of that mess of the slower cars. He's now driven up inside the top 10. There he is in 6th. Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, Ryan Blaney, and his former teammate Brad Keselowski inside the top 10. A big loser, Kyle Larson, back here in 11th. William Byron still getting held up by the 55 of Josh Williams, just not getting out of the way. And a lot of these guys are having trouble getting by the 55 car and the 15. Martin Truex Jr. has now caught this groove, and the 55 is still not getting out of the way. 55 is very off the pace, as is the 15 of Garrett Smithley. There's that 23 of Bubba Wallace now trying to pick up some spots, trying to use these slower cars as an advantage. And he's going to put the 55 3 wide. Williams has to get out of the gas. That's going to allow the 43 of Eric Jones to get by the 47 of Stenhouse. Well, that's definitely changed the complexion of the top 20. Right now we have the 48 of Alex Bowman. 3 laps to go here in... Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about lap number 25 as the stage is lap number 30. So we still got about 7 more laps to go here in stage number 1. Right now, Alex Bowman leading the way over the 45 of Kurt Busch. This is still kind of a 5-car breakaway here, with Bowman Kurt Busch, Hamlin, Elliott, and Harvick, your top 5. Greg Biffle back on track. He's multiple laps down in the 44 car. That's him right in front of the 22 of Logano. Kevin Harvick making the pass around the 9 of Chase Elliott. And now look at Bowman under fire from the 11 of Denny Hamlin right after he gets passed for the lead by the 45 of Kurt Busch. So Kurt Busch back to the lead. He had trouble early last week in Fontana as well. He got caught up in a crash. Didn't have a good outing last week in Fontana, and right now trying to get a little bit of redemption as Bowman drives it in deep again, trying to get that lead back away from the 45. I was going to say it's been a good start of the year for Kurt Busch since joining 2311 Racing. His boss man, Denny Hamlin, right there behind him, that 11 car. And Kevin Harvick, he had a fast car last week. Got trapped a lap down, was able to come back and grab a top, or he was able to come back and get a top 10 last week. And there's the 9 of Chase Elliott. He led the most laps last week in Fontana, but got passed on the final lap by his teammate Kyle Larson. Five to go, before to go in stage 1. This time by Elliott trying to get back around the 4. Kevin Harvick for 4th place on the track. Elliott loose on the bottom. Harvick's able to stay in the gas. Now, as the top 5 has been kind of under a blanket most of this last 5 to 7 laps, the 22 of Joey Logano has ran down the top 5. So that 22 car is showing a lot of speed here late in stage number 1. The 15, Garrett Smithley on pit lane. They have the hood up on the 15 car, so possible mechanical problems on the 15, as we saw him pretty off the pace there when they held up the back half of the pack. Right now that would put the 55 Josh Williams as the first car, 1 lap down, coming here to the end of stage number 1. When the caution comes out, the first car 1 lap down will get the free pass, and Denny Hamlin to the inside for the lead in turn 3. Well, we've seen cars try to make a pass on the inside, as we got the 77 of Landon Castle on pit lane, but we've seen cars try to make a pass on the bottom of turn 3 and 4, but they get loose. You have to get out of the gas. That's where the run on the outside comes into play. That time from the 48 of Alex Bowman. Hamlin still loose on the inside. Kevin Harvick has to check up. He now drives to the outside of the 11 as Logano now trying to work around the 9 of Chase Elliott to move inside the top 5. Hamlin and Harvick still battling for 2nd place. That's what Alex Bowman wants to see in his rearview mirror as he puts the 78 of BJ McLeod 1 lap down. And this will be the final lap here in stage number 1. Kevin Harvick to the outside of the 78 of McLeod is Hamlin 3rd, Kurt Busch, and Logano. Right now, I believe the 24, William Byron, holds down the 10th and final spot inside the top 10. That would get points. Right now, it is the 48, the Tucson, Arizona native, Alex Bowman, as he tries to get around the 66, J.J. Yaley. Bowman the showman, wins stage number 1 here from Las Vegas. And the caution will come out, and that will be it here for stage number 1. The caution came out after the top 10 came across the line, so we're not sure if the 66 of J.J. Yaley will be scored a lap down or not. But that cost him a big break for the 51 of Cody Ware. 1 more lap and Cody Ware would have been trapped a lap down. These guys, they only have 1 set of tires on pit lane, so I would expect that many of these guys would probably stay out here, save those set of tires at least till the end of stage 2. But the pace car out, and we are under yellow for the first time today under stage 1 caution. It is the 66 of J.J. Yaley. The first car will be told a lap down. And the 48 of Alex Bowman will be your Stage 1 winner here from Las Vegas. Back live here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Stage number 1 is officially in the books. Let's check out how the top 10 looked at the end of Stage 1. Alex Bowman getting 10 points plus a playoff point. Kevin Harvick runner-up, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, and Joey Logano. Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bale, Ross Chastain, and William Byron. Inside the top 10, one name that we do not see on that list, in full center, Kyle Larson, did not get stage points. I believe he was 11th in Stage 1, so he misses out on points. As we are going to get back green this time by the 66, J.J. Yaley did get the free pass, so he will be back on the lead lap. Josh Williams currently being shown 1 lap down. Greg Biffle is 3 laps down, as is the 77 Landon Castle. He had to make a unscheduled pit stop at the end of that stage. He lost 3 laps. He's also joined by the 15 of Garrett Smithley, who has just now taken his car to the garage area. So Garrett Smithley done for the day here in that 15 for Rick War Racing, as we are going to go back to green here on lap number 32. And we are back to green this time with Bowman and Harvick, your front row, and Logano 3 wide on the inside, trying to get around the 11 of Hamlin. And Logano's going to have drafting help from his teammate Ryan Blaney down low. And Kevin Harvick, a nice run on the outside off turn number 2. Can he possibly get around the 48 for the lead? Nice run through 3 and 4 for the 48 of Alex Bowman, but Harvick remains door to door. And at the stripe, it was the 48 leading. Double wide for the lead, double wide for 3rd place. Now Ryan Blaney settles into 5th place. Kurt Busch now under fire from his former teammate Ross Chastain. You see the 9 of Chase Elliott, 3 wide on the outside. He makes the pass on the 20 of Christopher Bale. Logano gets by the 4 of Harvick and now clears the 48, or does he? No, Bowman's going to fight back off turn number 4. And now look at Ryan Blaney. Instead of going with his 22 teammate Logano, he's going to go through the middle and now try to take that 2nd spot away. Kevin Harvick goes out the track. Logano misses the bottom, has to check up. That also forces the 1 of Chastain to be patient and have to lift off the gas as well. So it keeps Bowman leading. Blaney now 2nd. Harvick, Logano, and look at the 18, Kyle Busch now making some ground here on the restart of Stage 2. And just got around his teammate Denny Hamlin. Chase Elliott's lost a few spots. How about the 16 of Daniel Hemrick up here just outside the top 10? Going past the 9 of Elliott. Eric Jones back here in the 43, the Reese's Toyota. Got a couple of Reese's cars on track. The 43 as well as the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. Next to the 23 of Bubba Wallace, there's Suarez and 99, Cindric in the 2. There's the 10 of Almirola. Right now we have 34 cars on the lead lap. Right now the 78 of BJ McLeod is the first car 1 lap down. There's a look at BJ. Right now he is currently racing that 55 is teammate Josh Williams for that free pass spot if we get a yellow, as Ryan Blaney has now gotten around the 48 of Alex Bowman for the lead. So put the 12 of Blaney on pole. Remember, he nearly won this race a couple of years ago. Caution came out, and in fact, that caution, had that caution not come out, that win would have came down between Blaney and Bowman. So this has been a good track for both of these 2 drivers, especially in the last couple of years, as the 18, Kyle Busch now has driven inside the top 5. 18 getting better as the race goes on. Denny Hamlin, he fell back on the restart. He's now worked his way back inside the top 5. Larson has now driven up to 6. There's Logano, Kurt Busch, Byron, and Chastain. Daniel Hemrick right there in 11th. Eric Jones right now. Martin Truex Jr. potentially could get around Tyler Reddick for 13th. He is the biggest mover since the start of the race. Remember, he had to go to the rear of the field for unimproved adjustments. Now here in the second stage, this is a 40-lap stage. It will end on lap number 70, so these guys will have to make a pit stop at some point in this race, or at some point in the stage. I would expect a lot of these guys are going to try to come in as late as possible. That way they can have the freshest amount of tires when we begin that final stage of 20 laps. Want to make sure you have the freshest rubber on the track as possible. But then again, you want to make sure you have some track position as well. So it's going to be kind of a interesting strategy we're going to have to see from these guys to see who will try to short pit and who will try to stay out as long as possible. Kyle Busch looks like he had gotten up in second for a moment now. Passed once again by the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Ryan Blaney now trying to drive away. Remember the Pennzoil 400, and we have a Pennzoil car leading this race with Ryan Blaney. Check in with, we have so far in the first two races of the year, we've had two different winners. One of them right there, the 5 of Kyle Larson. He got the win last week in Fontana. He's been kind of up and down through the top 10 for the first 40 laps of this race. The other driver who has a win this season, let's check in with your Daytona 500 champion, Eric Almirola. Right now, currently sitting in 24th place. Doesn't really have the pace right now as his teammates Kevin Harvick and even Chase Briscoe, who we've seen inside the top 10, 15. Right now, Almirola stuck outside the top 20. There's the 17 of Chris Buescher. We saw him inside the top 10 earlier. Michael McDowell's back here in the 34. Austin Dillon. Here's J.J. Yaley. He's now driven up to about 27. He's got around the 21 of Harrison Burton. He went a lap down there at the end of stage 1. Able to get back on the lead lap, and now trying to see if he can pick up some spots. He's going to lose quite a few, though. Here in turn 3, he went a little bit too high up the track, and there's Harrison Burton, Corey LaJoie, Ty Dillon, Ty Gillen. They're all going to try to get around that 66 and 1 corner. Still a pretty good lead right now between Ryan Blaney and second place Kevin Harvick. Just under a second between the top two. And right now, I'll tell you what, the Fords have shown up here today. But at first, I thought it was going to be a Ford day. But as I look through the field, I mean, we got some Chevrolets up here. We got some more Toyotas joining the party. I mean, definitely a big amount of a variety up here inside the top 10. You have 3 Fords. You have a Chevrolet with Bowman, a Toyota with Kyle Busch, 2 more Chevrolets with the Hendrick teammates. We got 2 JGR Toyotas. We got the Toyota of Kurt Busch, the Chevys of Elliott and Chastain. Definitely a lot of variety of manufacturers up here inside the top 10 throughout the top 15. That's what you want to see. You want to see a lot of, you don't want to see one team just completely be dominant. So you're going to see a lot of these different teams running up here at the front of the field. But as the 4 of Kevin Harvick, he and the 22 of Logano been kind of single file, just kind of drafting with one another, and they have been quickly becoming a little bit closer to the back of that 12 of Ryan Blaney. Less than half a second now between the 12 and the 4. Got about 25 to go here in stage number 2. Remember, we are more than likely going to be seeing pit stops here at some point in this stage. So the question is, who is the first driver to come down pit lane, get new tires? But who's going to be the guy who stays out as long as possible? That way, at the beginning of stage 3, that last 20 laps, they will have the freshest tires on track. As they go by the 55 of Josh Williams, the 12 of Ryan Blaney has already been passed, as the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Happy Harvick now leading here in Sin City, a 2-time Vegas winner. Right now trying to get Stewart Haas Racing their second win of the year. They won the 500. Joey Logano, a 2-time Vegas winner. He won back-to-back here in 2019 and 2020. Kyle Larson, talking about him, he missed out on stage points there in that first stage. Here he is in 3rd. Kyle Busch, he has not scored any stage points yet this season. He didn't get any at Daytona. Obviously, nobody got any at Daytona. We didn't have any stage racing in the Daytona 500. but he didn't get any at Fontana. He didn't get any in the first stage here today. 18 missing out on some points, but right now here he is inside the top 5, trying to get around here. Stage 1 winner Alex Bowman. There's a 12 car Ryan Blaney, the 11 of Denny Hamlin. There's Kurt Busch. He's falling a little bit back here on this restart. I'll tell you what, the one guy who is, I'm noticing, getting a little bit more faster and faster. One driver coming up through the field, that 19 of Martin Truex Jr. If he can complete the pass on the 45 of Kurt Busch, that would be for 9th place on track. And he started this race 37th. This crossover move the 12 of Ryan Blaney now to the inside of the 18 as Logano to the outside for the lead. The 22, Joey Logano, your new leader here in Las Vegas. So he is now taking the lead away. There's Kyle Busch going after Kyle Larson for 3rd place. He'll take that spot. And now tries to drive to the back bumper of the 4, Kevin Harvick. From 20 laps to go here in stage number 2. We have 40 laps to go in the race. William Byron now trying to get around the 45 of Kurt Busch. He's gotten around the 19 of Truex. Just outside the top 10, Eric Jones having a strong run. There's Austin Cindric inside the top 15. His 2 teammates have been up front leading. Cindric kind of mired around the 15th place by having, a solid run for the rookie. Chase Briscoe won a stage last week and right now having another solid run. Although he didn't finish very well last week, trying to at least get some consistency with that 14 team. Something that he did not have last year. Bubba Wallace right now 16th, Brad Keselowski 17th, Tyler Reddick, Daniel Suarez, and Daniel Hemrick, the top 20. Christopher Bell, he was inside the top 10. He's now fallen back to 21st. Stenhouse Jr., Al Morella 23rd, Busher and Austin Dillon. 26th is Michael McDowell, 27th is Corey LaJoie, 28th is Harrison Burton, followed by Ty Dillon and Cole Custer, who's having a very bad day right now in that 41 car. Ty Gilliland, Justin Haley's now 32nd. J.J. Yaley right now scored in 33rd place. And the 51 of Cody Ware is in 34th right now. Those are the 30. That's how the top 34 looks right now. All of our lead lap cars. See, there you see the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. We got 4 Toyotas here under a blanket, and all 3 of them are trying to get around the 18 of Kyle Busch. And the driver on the move here, that 24, William Byron, getting a little bit faster as this stage goes on. Hamlin. You see Hamlin going way up the racetrack down there in turn number 1 and 2. He's going to lose quite a few spots to the 48 of Bowman, the 43 of Eric Jones. Right now, the 22 of Logano trying to drive away. We got 3 slower cars right up ahead. We got Greg Biffle, Cody Ware, and BJ McLeod. And we are about, I would assume, maybe 5 to 10 laps away from seeing guys start to come down pit road. If you see these cars, right up here, we saw how much they held up many cars there in the first stage, how it really separated the field. Do you see this and think, maybe I should go ahead and come down pit road this time before I get held up by these slower cars? And right now, that's what's going on with the 22 of Logano. He has nowhere to go. They're side by side in front of him. And Cody Weber's already down low. Really can't go 3 wide. He's going to stay behind the 44. But look at how this brings everybody to the party here for the lead. Kurt Busch is going to go 3 wide on the outside, the 45 car. Greg Biffle gets around the 78 of McLeod as Kurt Busch still all the way up against the wall, almost. That is, if Kyle Busch puts him there and just barely gets clear of the 45, that could have been a disaster for the Busch brothers. And imagine if that happened here at their home track of all places, those two getting together. The top 3 get single file. It's Logano, the first car to break away with the 4 of Harvick in second, and the 12 of Blaney in third. Kurt Busch fourth, and now Kyle Busch rounds out your top 5. Chase Elliott now gets by the 44. He is now going to be 6. Bowman, Larson, and I would assume Hamlin, and maybe Truex. That would be the first 10 cars to get through the lap down cars. But I do see a lot more cars seem to be coming towards the front. You know, you got the 45. He's showing a lot more speed here lately. You have, you know, the 9, and when I say lately, I mean the last couple of, you know, maybe last 10 or so laps. You know, we see some cars, you know, they have speed, then they fall off, and they kind of come back up towards the front. Maybe they just use their stuff up a little bit too much, how to kind of back off a little bit, cool their tires back down, as we got a second place battle here between Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney. Working lap number 59 of 90 of the race. The stage will end on lap number 70. So we have about 11 laps to go here in stage number 1. Be about 10 to go here this time by. As now Logano will approach the 77 of Landon Castle. But before he does that, he's going to go ahead and come to pit lane. Logano coming to pit road this time by. So Paul Wolf on top of the pit box says, you know what? We're going to roll the dice, bring you down, going to get you fresh tires. And we're going to see how this will cycle him out compared to Ryan Blaney and Kevin Harvick. Now, this is a great call. There's going to be a lot of benefits with coming down early like this because, one, Logano's going to have about 1 or 2 lap fresher tires, or 1 or 2 laps on fresher tires to make up more ground on his competitors here at the front of the field. And not only that, though, he had a clean entrance coming onto pit lane. He's going to have a clean exit coming off pit road. So that's going to give him even more time to possibly make up time, because when a lot of cars come in at the same time, you know, they're having a checkup for one another. Maybe one car cannot really maintain the pit road speed as good as some of the more experienced guys or whatever. So we're going to see how this will cycle Logano out. But the risk of coming down early, though, is the possibility of a yellow. And look at this mess behind the 22. Spotter on Logano's car has to be giving him some information about, you know, these cars are, you know, all over the place. The 47 nearly runs in the back of the 78. That's what I'm talking about right there. I mean, that could have been a wreck right there with B.J. McLeod and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. As we have the 18 on pit lane, the 9 of Chase Elliott's on pit road. Kevin Harvick's already been on and off pit lane. Kyle Larson now exiting pit road. There's the 21 of Harrison Burton leaving pit road. Corey LaJoie exiting pit road. I believe that may put the 43 as the leader. Eric Jones, and yes, Eric Jones is the leader, but now he's on pit lane. Tyler Reddick's on pit road. Brad Keselowski, Almirola, McDowell, Truex, and Chastain all coming down pit road this time by. This is with about 7 to go here in stage number 2. Now remember, these guys, if these guys are going to come down pit road here in this stage, they have to do it before 2 to go. Once the leader takes 2 to go, pit road will be closed. Now, last night in the Xfinity race, we saw 2 drivers try to stretch it all the way to the end of stage 2 on fuel. They made it. They got the stage win with Brett Moffitt, and his teammate Anthony Alfredo was second, but they pitted on the final lap because they were running out coming to the green, white checker flag. So, although they got the stage victory, they had a restart at the back of the pack for the final restart. And obviously that kept them from having a shot at the win. And maybe they didn't even have a shot to win to begin with, so that was a pretty good call for them. But not sure that would be something that they would want to do here. Any of these guys would want to do here at the front. As we're going to try to get a better view on who's the leader. And I believe the 47 car of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is still perhaps the last car has yet to come down pit lane. So has the 66 J.J. Yaley. Yaley has not come down pit road yet. There's Cindric in the 2 car. He was one of the first cars to come down pit lane, utilizing those fresher tires. You see he just drives by the 47 of Stenhouse, and looks like Stenhouse is coming to pit road this time by. So Stenhouse will come to pit lane. Now, we talk about, you know, pitting at the green, you cannot make mistakes. And we had some big names make some mistakes here on this round of pit stops. Bubba Wallace was too fast on pit lane. And so was the 4, Kevin Harvick, and the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. all caught speeding on pit lane. They are having to come back down pit lane and get service. Well, that should be a drive-through penalty for those 3 cars, but Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., and Bubba Wallace all got caught speeding on pit lane, have to come back down pit lane. In fact, Kevin Harvick also had a pretty slow stop as well, so that was just... the penalty was just a compound of what was already a some bad pit stop for the 4 of Kevin Harvick. As right now the 22 car, Joey Logano, is now the leader of this race with about 4 to go here in this stage. Coming to 3 to go right now. There's the 4, Kevin Harvick. He not only had a slow pit stop, not only did he have to come down pit lane and service penalty, but he is now caught 1 lap down, and he needs to get by this 22 car within the next 3 laps, or he will be having to get the free pass here under yellow. Now, obviously that would put him back on the lead lap, but we'd also have to start behind all the cars 1 lap down right now. And one driver who is cheering on the 4 Kevin Harvick is Bubba Wallace, because if Harvick does not get around the 22 and has to use the free pass, that will trap the 23 car of Bubba Wallace 1 lap down, entering that final 20 lap segment. As we got some smoke down here, that may have been from the 66 of JJ Yaley leaving pit road. As the Harvick, there goes Harvick. He goes by the 22 of Logano, and the 47 car Ricky Stenhouse Jr. too fast on pit road, so he's going to have a survey penalty as well. So Logano, he was the first car to come to pit road, so he's going to have a little bit more older tires when we begin this next stage. But we are on the final lap here of stage number 2, and look at the 12 of Ryan Blaney, his teammate. Pennzoil first and second in the Pennzoil 400. 21 laps to go in the race, but we have 1 to go in stage 2. This is for the stage 2 victory. 1 playoff point on the line. Can Ryan Blaney get by? Doesn't appear he will be able to, as off turn 4, the 22, Joey Logano wins stage number 2 here in Las Vegas. Ryan Blaney will be runner-up. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and I believe Austin Cindric is going to come home with a top 5 here in stage 2. So a great call to come down. So a great call to come down pit lane there for Austin Cindric. Got him some pretty good stage points here over Kyle Busch and Eric Jones. But some big names who are running up inside the top 5 and top 10 for much of that second stage. Nowhere to be seen in that top 10. So the pace car will pick up leader and stage 2 winner Joey Logano over Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott. We're going to take another break. When we come back, the final stage, the final 20 laps coming your way here on the 4Y Broadcasting Network. You can tell the sun is starting to go down. The track is beginning to cool down. The cars are beginning to change more and more. These cars are going to have a little bit more grip here than they have had all day long. And the lights are out at the top of the pace car, so we are going to go green this time by with 20 laps to go. It is a 20-lap sprint to the finish. And we have the 2 teammates on the front row, Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Austin Cindric, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe, and Ross Chastain. That was the top 10 results from stage 2. And that'll be your top 10 on the track here for this restart. We're going to go back green. Kevin Harvick stays on the lead lap. Bubba Wallace got the free pass. We'll get more into that in a moment, but we're back underway with 20 to go. Make that 19 to go this time by. Nice jump there on the inside line by the 22 of Logano, the 9 of Chase Elliott. Here comes the other Penske car from that trio organization, Austin Cindric. It wasn't until that third and final stage when we saw Cindric make some noise at Fontana last week, and here he is again, the final stage, making something happen. Goes by both of his veteran teammates to take second away. But at the front, though, it is the 9 of Chase Elliott. Haven't really talked about Chase Elliott being, having a car good enough to win this race just yet, but here he is, leading, coming off turn number 2. We got the 47 back on pit road. Possible engine failure on the 47. We believe he may have went down a cylinder there at the end of stage number 2. As Elliott, Blaney first and second, Kyle Busch now third. Look at Erik Jones, 3 wide on the apron, trying to get around the 22 and the 48. There's the 47 coming back on the pit lane. But like we said, though, we believe the 47, though, may be down a cylinder here late in the race. Ryan Blaney now back to the lead, but for how long? Chase Elliott back to the bottom down here in turn 3. Now Logano, the outside of the 18 of Kyle Busch, for third. Alex Bowman, your stage 1 winner, he was kind of quiet there in that second stage, but here he is now coming back up to the front here in the closing laps of this race. Erik Jones 6th, Briscoe 7th, Cindric, Hamlin, and William Byron in your top 10. Look at Michael McDowell in the middle in that 34 car. Bubba Wallace, he had to restart outside the top 30 because he got the free pass. Here he is. He's now driven his way up inside the top 20 already. So Bubba Wallace on the move. Kurt Busch had a bad pit stop. He lost a lot of ground compared to our leaders. Kyle Larson also lost a lot of spots. Ross Chastain had a slow pit stop. A lot of guys, so many mistakes on that round of green flag pit stops. That has basically eliminated many drivers from a shot at having a chance to win this race. One driver who has not led a lap here today is that 18 of Kyle Busch, but he's now getting more and more aggressive, trying to get around that 9 of Chase Elliott. Now, another driver on the move. How about that 43 car of Erik Jones for Petty GMS Motorsports? This has been a pretty good track for Erik Jones, too. He won a pole here a couple of years ago, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. This has always been a good track for Jones, and here he is right now in third place, trying to fend off the 22 of Logano. 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has now taken his car to the garage area. His race is over. The 66 of J.J. Yaley has also went pulled behind the wall. Not sure what the issue is there on the 66, but Yaley and Stenhouse done for the day, as well as the 15 of Garrett Smithley, who pulled in the garage earlier in this race. And now the 18, Kyle Busch, in front of the 9 of Chase Elliott. Third place, Logano on the inside of Alex Bowman. Got 3 Penske cars right here. Blaney, Cindric, and Blaney. Logano, Cindric, and Blaney. Now Blaney missed the bottom turn 3. He's going to get passed by 3 or 4 cars. And there's that 23 of Bubba Wallace. Remember, he was outside the top 30. He had to restart all the way at the back. And he is driving his way to the front. Look at that 23 car go in the middle of the corner. In the middle of the corner and in the middle lane. Made up a ton of ground and a ton of spots right there. Trying to get around his boss man, Denny Hamlin. Coming to 12 to go and 11 to go. This time it is side by side for the lead between Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch. It's been 14 years since Kyle Busch won his one and only NASCAR Cup Series race right here at his home track. 2008, that was his first year driving with Joe Gibbs Racing. Actually, that was 2009 he won here. That's about 13 years ago. But either way, though, it's been such a long time for Kyle Busch. He won a Xfinity race here back in 2016. He's won some truck races here recently, but it's been a long time since he won that Cup race. And right now, he has a shot to do it here tonight, but you can tell the speeds are beginning to pick up. Lights are going, the sun is going down. The lights are beginning to come on. And it's now the 9 of Chase Elliott trying to get some redemption after narrowly winning last week in Fontana. Fourth place now, Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace. He is on a mission right now. Look at him up in 5th place in that 23 car. William Byron is 6th, Austin Cindric, Kurt Busch, Eric Jones, and there's the 14 of Chase Briscoe. One driver who is struggling here on this restart, that 12 of Ryan Blaney. Got to get, right here he is getting passed by Brad Keselowski, and there's the 45 in front, Kurt Busch. Like, that 12 car definitely struggling right now. Doesn't seem to have the grip. Maybe, the track getting cooler. Could that be something hurting the 12 of Ryan Blaney? Another driver on the move, that 4, Kevin Harvick. He restarted, I believe, outside the top 30 as well. He was the last car on the lead lap at the end of stage number 2, so he had to come from very deep in the field, and he is now driven just outside the top 10. Second place, Logano and Elliott. There's Bubba Wallace and the 24 of William Byron getting in the mix here with now 7 to go. Can Kyle Busch hold off the 22 of Joey Logano? It was this track, this race in 2017 that really began the rivalry between Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. And look at the 18 lose so much ground entering turn number 1. Got too high, got in the marbles, how to get out of the gas. And now not only did he lose the front spot, he lost 2nd, he lost 3rd, and he might lose 4th and 5th place if he's not too careful. And he saw right at the top, right in front, the 11 of Denny Hamlin has now driven by the 22 of Logano. This is not over yet. This is a 6-car breakaway, 6 cars under a blanket fighting for a win with 6 to go. And this is what Hamlin wants to see. He wants to see these guys side by side in his mirror. They're going to be slowing each other down. They're going to be slowing the guys behind them down. That could give Hamlin enough time to get away and hold off with these final 5 laps. William Byron. I haven't really seen a whole lot of William Byron here at the front lately, but here he is now making some noise as a race begins to wind down here. Going after the 9 of Chase Elliott. And we saw Kyle Larson be strong early. We saw Alex Bowman be strong early. But here late in the race, it's the other 2 Hizit cars of Byron and Chase Elliott. Kyle Busch now losing some time here. And the 18 sideways as the 24 has a check up. The 9 gets run over by the 23 of Bubba Wallace. A huge moment right there, but they keep it together. But that's probably just killed Chase Elliott's shot at a win, as well as Bubba Wallace. It looked like Byron got loose. The 18 had to go up the track. The 9 checked up, and the 23 got in the back of the 9. And that probably just gave us a 2-man race. Look at that. I mean, it is definitely a 2-man race at this point between Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano. But as that was going on, I was trying to say the 18 of Kyle Busch. It seemed like the handling just gone away on the 18 like it did the 12 of Ryan Blaney. And now it's between Hamlin and Logano. We talk about the rivalry between Logano and Kyle Busch. The one between, the relationship between Hamlin and Logano is not any better. These two have had a lot of moments between themselves in the last, 5 to 6 years that really have just, really the last 10 years. They were once teammates. And now they're rivals and just really don't see eye to eye on and off the track. And right now, Hamlin has a mirror full of that 22 of Logano. 55 of Josh Williams leaving pit road. Not sure what the issue is there on the 55. Kyle Busch trying to hold off the 3rd place. Byron 4th. Bubba Wallace Chase Elliott's in 5th. Wallace is 6th. Harvick, Briscoe, Blaney, and Truex. That is your top 10. Great run here by the 14 of Chase Briscoe as we're going to take the final lap here at Las Vegas. Denny Hamlin in front of the field. Can he hang on? Logano's right there in the 22. Remember last week in Fontana, it was a last lap pass between Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. Larson grabbed the win, but that was a good turn 1 and 2 by the 11. Can he hang on for one more set of corners? It took him over 16 years in his career to get his first win at Las Vegas, but now it's back-to-back wins for the 11 team. Denny Hamlin goes back-to-back here at Las Vegas. He wins the Pennzoil 400, and it'll be 1 spot short for the Pennzoil car, Joey Logano. ends up second. Just one spot short of the win. The Hendrick teammates of William Byron and Chase Elliott were able to get by the 18 of Kyle Busch there on that final lap. Kevin Harvick and Martin Truex Jr., they both spent on pit lane under that green flag pit stop. They came out to get a top 10, as did Bubba Wallace. So that was a very impressive rebound by those three drivers that come all the way from outside the top 25 to have a shot at a top 10 or even a win. So that will do it here from Las Vegas. And now the cars were coming down pit lane and they will begin post-race inspection. But there is your winner today, Denny Hamlin. Gets his first win of the year, punches his ticket into the postseason. And now we're going to take a look here at the results from today's race from Las Vegas. So outside pole center, Denny Hamlin, your winner. He already went through the top 5, but great rebound by Bubba Wallace, as we said. Kevin Harvick comes back to get a top 10. Chase Briscoe had a great run, cut short last week. He comes back to get a top 10 today. Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex Jr. Kyle Larson, he won the pole, but didn't really show a lot of winning speed. Looks like his car kind of faded throughout the day. Kurt Busch ran top 5 for much of the day, had a slow pit stop, and really never recovered. Austin Cindric, he was running in the top 5 in the early laps of that final restart. Ends up 13th. Brad Keselowski, solid day in 14th. Tyler Reddick. The stage 1 winner, Alex Bowman, ends up 16th. Eric Almirola there, 19th. Eric Jones, he ended up falling back to 21st. Not sure what happened with the 43 car, but Eric Jones fell all the way back to 21st. That's a tough wreck for Jones, who had top 5 speed, no doubt. Daniel Hemrick had a spent some time until the top 10, top 15. Michael McDowell, 24th. Ross Chastain, he scored some points in stage 1 and 2, ends up 25th. Tough break for Chastain. Ty Dillon, Cole Custer, Harrison Burton in your top 30. There is Justin Haley, 31st. Josh Williams ends up 10 laps down and 36. And we have 39 cars, only 36 finished the race. The final 3 drivers, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., G.J. Yaley, and Garrett Smithley, all had engine failures let go throughout the race. And now we are going to take a look here at your points, as we are now 3 races in. Denny Hamlin, name is in green, so he is in the postseason, joining Eric Almirola and Kyle Larson. We had a Ford win at Daytona, a Chevrolet last week, and now a Toyota here today. So all 3 manufacturers already have driven a victory lane at some point in the first 3 races of the year. Chase Elliott holds down the regular season point lead, 16 over Denny Hamlin and 24 on Ryan Blaney and 25 on William Byron. Right now, Kurt Busch holds that 16th and final spot in the playoffs, 10 points over Chase Briscoe. So that will do it here for today's broadcast from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We have Denny Hamlin in victory lane. We had Ty Majeski win the truck race. We had the Xfinity race last night. Had a thriller finish with Brandon Jones winning the race. And now here today, Denny Hamlin gets it done here. And we will now transition over to the final race of the West Coast Swing. It's Phoenix. Probably one of the most important races on the schedule next week, as Phoenix International Raceway will be the championship race in November. So next week's going to be very important for many of these teams as try to figure out a setup that maybe they can use to battle for a title should they make the Final Four in November. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Next week we got the Xfinity Series on Saturday and the Cup Series on Sunday. The Truck Series is off next week. They'll be back at Atlanta in 2 weeks. So stay tuned for next Saturday's race from Phoenix. But until then, congrats to Denny Hamlin. He is your winner of the 2022 Pennzoil 400.